Faith-based fiction, the story of Wayne and Jean Vozzolo. Wayne and Jean meet at Camp Yoka, a Christian summer camp. Some things go wonderfully right and other things go terribly wrong. Episode number 6. Wanda Fitzgerald and Honey rushed over to Jean as soon as they put their dirty trays on the dirty tray shelf and their utensils in a pan of soapy water. Jean, I have always loved spaghetti and meatballs. I have no idea what you did to this, but I simply must have your recipe, and I'm so glad you have planned overs for me, Honey said as she sat down next to Jean. And I need it too, not just for my family, but my future nursing home. Please, Wanda begged. Jean, here. Let me buzz your stuff while you talk to these ladies, Wayne said as he smiled and took her dirty tray. Thank you, Wayne. I appreciate that in you, Jean answered, shoving her tray in his direction. I thought you two might want my recipe, and I got a really good grade on that one in class, so I wrote it out for both of you. Here you go. Jean pulled 2 pieces of paper from the pocket in her red checkered apron. Enjoy, she smiled, stood, and headed to the kitchen. On the way to the kitchen, she noticed some dropped meat sauce on a table. I think Jeffrey might have been sitting there. Yeah, I'm sure he was there then next to Edna. She quickly got a wet soapy cloth and washed all the tables. When she got to the messy table, she wiped up the sauce with a couple of paper towels before she washed it. Aunt Bertha followed behind her with a pan of clean water and a clean towel to rinse them. Honey was already running hot water in the sink and adding dishwashing soap. She looked at the chart Jean had taped above the sink and added a certain amount of bleach water in the second rinse sink. The 3 ladies sang along with the choirs. They quickly cleaned the kitchen and started to prep for the evening meal. Jeffrey insisted that Edna sit next to him at choir practice. He even put his arm around her, making sure Wayne saw him. After choir practice and a few activities, Honey motioned to Wayne to come to the kitchen. Look, Wayne, I have a couple of things, Honey started. Yes, ma'am, Wayne replied. About the box in the cooler with the note to see Wayne, Honey asked. Wayne laughed as he went over to the cooler and pulled out the box with a strange message. He lifted it up to the counter and took out his small hummingbird on scrimshaw pocket knife and cut the tape. He folded his knife and stuck it back in his pocket. As he lifted the lid, Jean, Honey, and Aunt Bertha watched intensely. I've never seen such a tiny cantaloupe, Jean exclaimed. The other 2 ladies agreed. These, my sweet ladies, are a specialty item my grandfather developed and is, I am proud to say, patented by Vozzolo Produce. We call them ice cream bowl cantaloupes. Wayne picked one up, turned on the faucet, and washed it. Jean, would you hand me that bigger knife, please? I don't think my hummingbird will do the trick. As Jean reached around and got one of her chef's knives, Wayne said, Here, smell how sweet this little guy is, even through his hide. Aunt Bertha and Honey both sniffed it. Wow, it is sweet. Smell this, Jean, Honey said. When Jean turned back around, she laid the knife down on a clean cutting board. Oh, my. Never have I smelled such a delicious-smelling cantaloupe, much less seeing one so small. But it's the perfect size. Here, let me show you. He set the tiny cantaloupe on the clean cutting board and sliced it in half. He picked up a serving spoon on the towel and spooned out the seeds into a bowl as he explained, We are saving the seeds for these. He quickly washed another one and sliced it in half and removed the seeds. Wayne reached up in the freezer and pulled out a half a gallon of vanilla ice cream. Wow! I had on my list Melorine because it's cheaper, Jean said, but the freezer's full of real ice cream. Ma'am, we Vozzolos try to honor our Lord with the best we can, not the least expensive. And Camp Yoka is for the Lord. Besides, calling it Melorine Bowl Cantaloupe just sounds downright strange. Wayne says he grabbed an ice cream scoop and wet it under the faucet. 1 or 2 scoops? Oh, by all means 2, Honey said. Double for me, Aunt Bertha said, nodding her head. I'm not going to be different. 2 for me, please, Jean said, grabbing 4 spoons. Here's your weapons to attack. Perfect ice cream bowl size. Thick, sweet meat. Delicious, Jean said after inspecting and tasting. Well, Honey replied, with your training and experience, that says an awful lot. Wayne, should we call the rest of the gang over here, or are we going to hoard the rest of this box for just us four and no more? Well, I guess the Christian thing to do is to share, Wayne answered, shaking his head. He put down his bowl and started washing more of the tiny cantaloupes. Jean put down her half and started slicing the washed ones. Aunt Bertha put down her bowl and started filling each half with 2 scoops of ice cream. Honey went out from the kitchen area and rounded everybody up for an afternoon snack. As soon as Jeffrey and Edna got close to the counter where Wayne was, Jeffrey grabbed her hand and held it until they got all the way to the counter. He made sure they were first in line. He picked up his cantaloupe and started eating. "Delicious, Vozzolo, delicious," he said, smacking his lips. "Glad you like it. Enjoy," Wayne replied as he handed one to Edna and smiled. Jeffrey saw the smile, and Edna smiled back. "Come on, Edna. Let's sit down over here." Jeffrey quickly steered her in the direction he wanted her to go. Soon everybody had their serving.